This is the instructional video for using the SQL Developer that is in the Oracle Developer Days that is found on your Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Open the Oracle VirtualBox Manager and log in to the Oracle Developer Days. Remember, the video for this can be found on our website. This may take a few minutes. Remember, your password is Oracle. You're going to log in, and now you're on the desktop. Once you've arrived at the desktop, we're going to click on the icon that says SQL Developer 3.2. Your version may be 3.0. Both versions work equally the same. We're going to open that version up. When it opens, there's always a tip of the day. You can close those tips out, or you may leave them up. It is your own personal preference. Now, before we can do any more exercises in the developer, we need to download the files that we are going to use on the Oracle Developer Days. We're going to minimize this. If you notice, everything that you minimize will go to the bottom of your page. It will not be at the top or along the side. It will be at the bottom. Now we are going to download the files that you will use to work in the Justly database that is found in your textbook, Oracle 11G SQL by Joan Castile. The Justly database has SQL scripts that you will run to set up the database for working on the assignments throughout the textbook. However, you will create your own database with the CityGel project too. Now, you have to open up a browser window inside the VirtualBox. Do not open up a browser outside of the Virtual Manager. You will not be able to transfer your files from the Windows operating system. You must be on the Linux operating system in order to transfer those files from your Moodle website. When you open the browser window, go to mntconline.com to open up the Moodle website. It may look a little bit different. Sometimes files and scripts don't transfer equally. Log into the system using your username and password. Find your course. Remember, this course is the Introduction to SQL, or it could be called Database Design and Programming. Could be both titles. Here it is right here, Topic 5, Database Design and Programming Intro to SQL. We're going to download the SQL student data files. Click on the highlighted link and you will notice there is a zip file with those data files that we need. We're going to click on that file, and it's going to ask us if we want to open this studentdatafiles.zip. And we say yes, open with the Archive Manager. Then click the OK button. Now we're going to extract these files onto our desktop. Make sure the extract in the folder location is the desktop, not temporary. You want it to be on the desktop so you can access it easily. Come down to the bottom left corner, click on the extract button. Now you see that the data files have been extracted. They should be on your desktop. You can close out this window, Close out the download window, and you can also close out the browser window. We're done there. And now on my desktop, if you look to the far left-hand side of the desktop at the bottom, you see a folder that says Data Files, and it is ready to go. I am now ready to click on the Oracle SQL Developer and open it to begin loading the files we're going to use for class. We're going to click on the File in the very top left-hand corner, Open, and we're going to go to the desktop location. I now have my data files, and I'm going to open that folder, and I've got several scripts in here. Some of them are designated for specific chapters. The first script at the top is called JLDB_build.SQL. That is the script we are going to use to build the Justly database. Highlight the script, click the Open, and now a new worksheet has opened with the script that we're going to run and build. Now, if you scroll down on the far right-hand side, you can see there are several scripts in here. It's not just one thing that's happening. It's more than one. But before we can run this script, we need to make a connection to the database. We do not have a connection yet, so we're going to make a connection. On the far left side, under Connections, there's a big green plus arrow. We're going to open up for a new database connection. The connection name is going to be JLDB, and the user is Scott, S-C-O-T-T, Scott. The password, of course, is our famous Oracle, all lowercase. And in the center of this box, it says Oracle, and underneath that it says Connection Type. We're going to click on the drop-down arrow and click on TNS. The connection type should be TNS. Now the radio button Network Alias is highlighted, and we're going to go to the drop-down arrow there and click on ORCL for Oracle. Now we are trying to connect to this database, which is Oracle, by using the TNS. We're going to click the test button that is in the center of your box at the bottom. If this works, in the far left corner it says Status Success. If it doesn't work, you have a problem, and you may need to repeat these steps. Maybe you have forgotten a step or did something wrong. Once it works and you have success, you want to save the connection. Once you've saved the connection, we're going to connect. And if you notice on the far left, it has built a connection for you. If you open that plus sign next to the database connection, you will see there are lots of tables, views, indexes, packages, functions, queues, triggers, a plethora of things you can do. You're going to be using the tables mostly, or the views. Further on, maybe some sequences. Further on in the chapters, you might do a few other things. As you get to PL SQL, of course, you'll be using packages and procedures and functions. If you click the plus sign in front of tables, you will see there are only a few tables in there. These tables are the tables that are for the Scott user. Don't delete them. You may not use them for the Justly database. Just leave them alone. You don't need to delete them. If you notice above the worksheet, it made a brand new worksheet for the Justly database build script. We want to click on that worksheet where our script is, and we're going to actually now run the script. If you hover over the green run button, it says run statement. If you hover over the second green button with a letter or a document behind it, it says run script. We want to run the script, not the statement. If you only had one query, you would run a statement. But in this case, we're running more than one query, so we want to run the script. So we're going to click on the run script. It's going to ask us, do we want to keep this connection JLDB or do we want to make a new one? We want to keep this one, so we're going to say okay, and we're going to let that script run. If you notice in the output button section of the page, it says script output. It's putting out all of the creations that it made. It created a customer table. It inserted all these rows. It came down and created a publisher table and inserted rows, a books table, a book author, account managers. These are all the tables that it just created. But if you look over under the Justly database connection, under tables, it doesn't look like they're there yet, right? They're missing. If you minimize the table view and hover over the refresh button, which is the two blue arrows, click on that and refresh those tables. Now go back and click the table button once again, and you notice that all of your tables are now populated into this database. If you open the tables, you will also see the columns and the data types. That you will be using for this course. Some of these columns have data in them. If you notice the account manager, the first table I opened, at the top of the page it says columns, data, constraints, grants, statistics, triggers, flashback, dependencies, details, partition, indexes, SQL. If I were to click on the data, I would see there is no data in here currently. In order to insert data, I can insert rows or I can run queries to add rows. You will be running queries. You will not be using this GUI to make your data. I want you to learn how to write the insert statements. I want you to master those skills, so you need to be writing those scripts yourself. Now that you have your data in here, you're ready to begin your textbook and chapter 1, and this is the instructions for uploading the files to the SQL Developer, setting up a connection in the SQL Developer, and running your scripts and queries.